Disclaimer. The content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions.
It's Circle Back right here on the Circles Off YouTube channel, presented by Underdog. This is the show where we review the week that was in gambling Twitter. I'm your host, Rob Pizzola, joined to my left, Kirk Evans, Geoff Feinberg, back from vacation, Jacob the Giant Gramenya producing today. How was vacay, Geoff? You look like you got some sun a little bit?
Good. Lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
I got no complaints.
All right. We'll leave it
I'm
at
a little jet lagged.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to it later in the show, but someone sat in that seat last week that maybe is coming for the seat.
Let's go. Maybe, yeah, I liked it. I like Joey. I was sad I missed him. The second you told me that he was coming in, it's like, because I know he had lost the bet and I wanted to be here.
We'll get him back at some point or another. I think he lives for this shit anyway, so it won't be too hard to get him back in studio at some other point. One thing that I live for, personally, even though I'm not a huge college basketball fan over the course of the season, is March Madness. I love March Madness as a whole. I love everything about it, including people going nuts on Selection Sunday. But Jared Smith tweeted this week, a friend of mine who isn't into gambling but loves college hoops asked me to describe the feeling of betting March Madness and explain why it makes the viewing experience better. I replied with this picture. For those who are listening, it's the picture of Elmo deciding whether to eat fruit or the white stuff, the powder on the other side, and looking towards the powder. I agree. I love that stuff. But it started for me with many, many years ago, a tradition, dates back over a decade, of Alan Boston. Alan Boston, previously interviewed on this channel on Circles Off. You can catch that interview. We'll link it down in the description below. Formerly used to work for Billy Walters, was a college basketball guy. He started with like these conspiracies years ago, which I would say are not even conspiracies anymore. I think they're just like facts at this point about how these mid-major teams get fucked in the seedings in the tournament, and all the big teams get like very favorable draws. And over the years, it's come to fruition. But I lived through Alan Boston tweeting on Selection Sunday every year, and not just him, the amount of people that get like infuriated with how the bracket is selected. These are like grown adults that are fucking losing their minds over like, this team shouldn't have got in, this team's seeding is too low, this team is like 9th in the Ken Palm ratings, but they got a 7 seed in the tournament. I don't know what it is about March Madness for me, but I the event as a whole, especially the first week, is one of my favorite of the entire year, Kirk.
Yeah, my take on March Madness this year honestly like makes me sad. Every year it's kind of been dwindling for me, but like at this point there's just so much NBA going on. Like maybe I'll fill out a bracket or two, but I'm just not going to be involved. And that makes me sad because it used to be like I would always fake sick at school for it to make sure I could watch. I would always skip all of my classes in college, obviously, and watch. Even years prior, when I was betting, I was like, all right, I'm going to focus on some March Madness and put some time in. And now it's just, I'm just not going to pay attention.
I want to pick up on that in a second because I feel a lot of what you're feeling. Geoff, you're more of like the rec. You're not betting for like your income like me and Kirk are in particular. I mean, for you, like, is March Madness still a thing? Thursday, Friday, all day in front of the TV, live betting, that kind of stuff?
Not a chance. I've asked a couple smart friends for some bets, and I've tailed them. But, like, the greatest memories in life are those Thursday, Friday in college. I lived in, like a townhouse thing that had, like, 5 houses connected. We all, like, shared a backyard.
Yeah.
And we would throw like flip cup, beer pong part, like just the whole, like just the debauchery of these days, the Gus Johnson days, Rob.
Yep.
like just magic. I close my eyes, I dream about like getting like 1 hour back in that past life. As for this tweet, this meme, it hits me, but in a different way, because I am a casual, but I do like to gamble. I just haven't made a college basketball bet all year. It's just not my thing. So I see this tweet, and it's like, yeah, like when's the last time I did anything or adjacent to white stuff? That would have been in Vegas. When's the when am I going to do it again? Probably the next time I go to Vegas. When's the last time I bet March Madness or college basketball? Last March Madness.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where like I'm not doing this really other than the time I'm in Vegas or at March Madness when I actually bet college basketball in these last couple of years.
So it's a very accurate tweet for you.
It
hits home.
But Jared is like, just because he's like so excited for it,
Yes.
it just the meme it has different meanings. But it hit me just in a different way. As for your boy Boston and those mid-majors getting screwed, it's the fucking Jews, Rob.
I mean,
it's the Jews.
So I was wondering, I did not include it in the rundown,
It's the
but
Jews.
you obviously saw that.
Yeah, we're responsible for Allen's mid-majors getting the screw job.
Yes, he had an interesting tweet. I don't remember. Listen, I'm going to misquote it now because I don't have it in front of me. But it was something about like 3 teams, all who are good in college basketball, that have Jewish head coaches. Right?
Yes, and he said how ironic it was.
Which I'm not even very bright, but I don't think he used that properly.
Probably not.
He did not
Definitely
use
did
it
not.
correctly.
Knowing
No.
him, I don't think he did.
No, he is an insane person.
So you mentioned the conspiracy things that you used to know him for. He hasn't chilled.
No, he's still doing that. Like if we go one more slide here,
He's
Jacob.
gone much deeper.
I mean, it wasn't too bad yesterday. Like what a shit show these seedings are. People were losing their minds. Like Mitch Moss, they've announced 6 matchups. It's already one of the worst ever jobs by the committee. Sean Paul, North Carolina is in. What a dreadful choice to include them. Just awful. Brad Evans, same thing. North Carolina, get the fuck out of here. Not deserving, ridiculous. But like this to me is more insane than the committee's seedings, because this just happens every year. Like the committee always gets it quote unquote wrong in the view of the general public because there's more at stake. There's money at stake in these tournaments. They want to put teams with big fan bases in, give them favorable draws, stuff like that. To me, the insanity is the people who are expecting like a perfect, like I used to be this guy, so I don't want to, like 6 years ago, I probably would have argued we should just use Vegas like power ratings to seed the bracket. But now I'm just like, no. I mean, like, I understand how the world works. I like I don't even watch college basketball. North Carolina has had a horrible year. I like that North Carolina's in the tournament because I grew up like watching players from North Carolina. I think that's interesting. Yeah. I just find like I find it very amusing, the discourse every year around it all.
I want to agree with you, but I just know that if I like was a diehard college basketball fan, I would be one of these guys losing their mind.
Well, if there was an NBA tournament where they just picked randomly, or NHL for me, or golf for you, Geoff, we would be this person.
Yeah, if they did, I mean, they fucking don't do match play anymore, and it breaks my heart. Now they do it by world rankings. But if it was a subjective committee making like a 64 match play bracket, I'd lose my mind. So I got nothing to say on that other than I'm self-aware enough, like Kirk, to know if I was a college hardo, I'd be one of these people going ape shit. If they put North Carolina in one of those standalone Tuesday night games, it's obvious why.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of money paid to show them, and they want a premier team in those like Tuesday night one-offs.
Yep. Matthew Watley tweeted, "It's not outlandish to say that college basketball is a better sport than college football right now." Uncle K, Joey Kanish, quote tweeted that, said, "It's not outlandish. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." I will say I'm a football fan first and foremost. I prefer Thursday, Friday, March Madness over watching like a college football national championship game.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like to me, college basketball is better. Like I'm not a fan of either sport, but just the fact that March Madness exists and you get that first weekend, which is like college football, just doesn't compare.
I don't even know. Like, I agree with Kanish, but I love football, and basketball, like, is just, around.
I will say just a story from my end. So me and Geoff, I for anyone who's new here and you don't know, me and Geoff used to work together in our early and mid 20s at the Score back in the day. And that March Madness was huge for us because we had the TV rights in Canada for March Madness. And we used to have Rick Majerus, who was the coach of the St. Louis Billikens.
No, it was Utah then, wasn't it?
No,
Oh, no, sorry. It's post because he had the Keith Van Horn Utah teams, and then he went somewhere else. And yeah.
Rest in peace, Rick Majerus, who's since passed away. But we used to have him in studio. It was a big thing for the entire corporate, the entire building was on pause during March Madness.
I feel like other great coaches were there.
Possibly. I remember Majerus because he was there a lot.
There are some incredible.
And he used to eat. I don't remember if you remember how many pizzas that guy
They
could
no
put back.
the stories about the people in charge of making sure he was happy were truly hilarious, like the Chinese food orders. But the funniest thing about it, Kirk, is they had him staying literally like half a block at the Soho, and he wanted a car back.
Yeah.
It is one of the literally maybe less than half a block, because ironically the same building we're in now. He needed a car service to take him to the.
It's actually like a 45-second walk.
Yeah, it would take you 10 times the amount of time to get in a car to get there than it would to walk over. But that was great experiences. But for me, that was when I was a more recreational bettor. So I used to spend the Monday to Wednesday handicapping the tournament, going through all, and I miss that because now the way I think of college basketball, I think of how markets work, right? And Telemachus is a guy I've interviewed a couple times here on Circles Off, college basketball bettor that bets with Rufus's group now, and from my understanding, you talk to people, everyone's like, oh, people are down college basketball this year. Apparently they're killing it. And a lot of people say basically his numbers that he's generating end up being the closing line, very close to the closing line in the game. So now I start to think about it. It's I don't want to compete with that. My knowledge of the market is a detriment to enjoying events like March Madness like I used to. And I really, really miss that. Now I'm going to sit at my desk and I'm going to live bet all day. And I'm going to make some miserable minus EV bets because I'm going to be watching the game and convince myself that this team's going to go on a run or whatever. Just going to try to go through those motions. But I do somewhat miss the days where I could bet more recreationally in events like that.
I miss the days where I actually cared about filling out a bracket. When we worked at the company and there was literally so much pride. Obviously there was money on the line, but to win the Score bracket contest, it was truly
it's bragging rights, man.
Yeah, or in college with all your buddies, there was a sense of pride in that bracket. Now, I'm not even going to fill out a bracket. I know I couldn't. I don't want. I'd fill it out I just know I have no chance. I don't even care. I'd rather just bet the tournament.
But this just goes back to the fact that. I think we covered it 2 weeks ago of one of these sports books needs to get a Circa Survivor tournament.
Yeah,
we
got some responses in the comments that there's a lot of these, but I maybe it's just I don't see them promoted much or anything like that.
I never see that.
I saw a couple of them promoted.
But it needs to be
a big one.
A $5 million.
Yes, where everybody wants to be involved in that one
so
contest.
Hard. You can't get that in a week. Sir, a big contest like that is open for signups for the whole summer.
Yeah, but they should open it at the start of football season.
Oh, I guess you're right. You could just enter it at any time.
Yeah, offshore is the easy
you're right.
way to
I
do
don't
it.
need to know what the matchups are to want to be in to pre-sign up. You're right.
But anyways, it's March Madness. I do love this time of the year. You will not catch me doing anything else. So, my wife's going to come back from Disney and she's going to be like, what the hell is going on here? You're watching basketball all day, squeaky shoes. I'm like, I'm sorry, babe, that's the way it's going to work. March Madness this week. Before we get into our next topic, I just want to shout out our sponsor here on Circles Off. It's Underdog, the easiest way to add some fun to your NBA nights without grinding through endless spreadsheets or dealing with sportsbook headaches. Now, if you haven't checked it out yet, Underdog Pick'em is super simple. You just choose higher or lower on player projections. There's no complicated odds, no debating if you're getting the best price. You just pick your favorite players and enjoy the sweat. And here's the best part. New users who sign up with deposit code CIRCLES get up to $1,000 in bonus credit, plus a free pick. Tonight's free pick, Jason Tatum higher than half a point against the Nets. That's right. If Tatum scores a single point, you're already off to a winning start. Look, I know a lot of you out there are sharp bettors, and sure, Underdog isn't the place where you're going to be grinding out millions of plus EV edges against the books. But that's the point of Underdog. It's a fun, quick way to test your sports knowledge without the stress of closing line value or market movement. You can build an entry in under a minute. You can track it live. You can just enjoy the game. It's a great recreational product. I highly recommend it. If you want to mix things up, sign up with code CIRCLES today. Use the link in the description below. Grab that free pick and see how you do. A single bucket from Jason Tatum is all you need to start your night off with a W. Check out Underdog. Use the link in the description below and code CIRCLES. From one bracket, we move to another. Pretty genius idea, I would say, to get some engagement. Novig, which is a sweepstakes exchange brand in the space, trying to make a name for themselves, created the Novig Influencer March Madness tournament. 64 influencers, one winner, and $1,000 to a charity of their choice. Who will win? It's all up to you, the fans. So they constructed a bracket. I don't even really know what people were voting on here. Like, who is the best influencer? Who's the more popular person? I have no idea, but this did generate a lot of engagement. Shout out to their social guy, Plus EV Penguin. I had talked to him before, but he's doing some stuff to get engagement out of there. So there's a lot of storylines with this particular bracket. And one of them was that you guys ended up taking on each other in a round.
It looked like, if you checked it out, it seemed like they did a really good job with their first round seedings.
I would say
like
that
a lot
as well.
of it was manipulated rivalries and such, online rivalries. This is a really close vote. Me and Kirk were neck and neck the whole way.
It was calculated, these matchups.
Did either,
Absolutely.
Oh, great. Honestly, the way that the bracket was put together,
Yeah.
with the exception of the inclusion of Icy Vert, who is just like didn't really belong. Like,
But why am I supposed to not, like, I didn't know who he is, but why am I supposed to be mad about it?
It's just like one of these things is not like the other. Like, you have 63 sports betting influencers, and you just got
There were
like
a couple randoms. Like Ohio's Tate was on there, who's just like a random Barstool guy. I've never seen him on
Yeah, I
gambling
guess.
Twitter.
Yeah.
But no, they definitely did a good job and a good job with matchups. Also, I'm just noticing now, whoever's Twitter account this is,
voted for
me.
Kirk.
That's a good point. You know what? Let's see, Rob, throw up your phone.
This was mine.
Jacob admitted to it.
Wow.
There it is. Good. Thanks,
Appreciate
Jacob.
it. Appreciate
Yep.
it. But
Oh,
I
a good one for you.
good catch, Kirk.
It was a
I
good one.
actually thought we should show we should make people pass around their phones to see loyalty tests.
So you will see
like that
you will
idea.
see what I did, but I voted for everyone who was losing in the first round.
Oh,
But
so-
how do you
so
know
another
that?
Kirk.
You, I've seen results already. We have two accounts. We have a Circles Off
Oh,
account.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I just really, for the most part, voted for who I liked more, like who I wanted to give the clout to win.
Yeah.
I didn't really, had nothing to do with following and nothing almost to do with how good they were at Twitter. It was really like, which one of these people do I want to give my modicum of clout to? And that was how I voted. I assume that's how
Totally agree.
everyone voted.
Did either of you guys promote this at all?
No.
I did not promote my battle with Kirk.
Yeah.
And I did not promote unless the other person fired the first promote.
Bingo.
Kirk didn't promote. I didn't bring it outside of, like, I have a lot more followers than Kirk.
Yeah.
So he did, like, quite well relative
Yeah.
to our follower base. But this seemed like our vote was strictly in, like, the Novig or that universe. I
Yes.
didn't bring it to
your
my universe.
yes. Well,
in
like-
the other matchup, if someone threw the first, I'm bringing it to my people, then I countered. But
Who was your other matchup?
DK, DFS, the
Oh,
basketball.
DK, DFS.
Oh,
yeah.
And someone, golf Twitter was not going to let me lose to
I know.
to a Monahan.
Yes.
To a
Oh,
Monahan.
yes, you had Monahan.
I took out Alex Monahan. Golf Twitter I was not losing to a Monahan. I don't care no relation. I have enough respect that people were not allowing an L beside the last name Monahan to me. And then Yeah, if someone threw the first promotion, then I promoted with a retaliatory promote.
See, I love this idea as a whole. It's great to get engagement. I do struggle with giving. It's not that I have anything against Novig, but I struggle to give like promotion to a brand who is like intentionally engagement farming. No matter how good the idea is.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
It's a good idea, but like I wasn't going to be the guy that. But yeah, then I ended up facing Kanish in one of the rounds, and he's like tweeting up a storm about this. Like when somebody wants, like this is the honest to God truth. I didn't give a shit about this, like winning this at all. I like the idea. I faced Steffi Smalls in the first round. I didn't care if I lost. I don't give a shit. But once Kanish was starting to like really, really get into it, I know how badly he wants to win. I was not going to allow that to happen. Like I created a fake. I got the Mayo Media memes guy to create a fake DM from Kanish to me saying that he wishes he was Canadian. And I tweeted that out. And a lot of people thought it was real. They were responding like traitor. I knew deport him and whatever. That's how much I put some stock into this. But
there were some like, how do I put this? Even though it was a fun overall nothing burger, there was some, in my opinion, like significant takeaways.
Okay.
Agreed.
Like one main takeaway that I took from this whole thing.
Yes.
It was Spin Influencer.
Okay, Spinfluencer. So Spinfluencer, if we go back to the previous slide, it was constructed in the bracket, again, very intelligently, for him to face Amanda Vance, then Ariel Epstein, then Taylor Mathis if they won. Brilliant seeding strategies. So we have like the Pokemon, Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, meme that got tweeted out. But, he won his first two matchups. And then, to me, the highlight of this entire thing was the Taylor Mathis matchup, Spinfluencer Taylor Mathis. Because what happened here, and I'm following this pretty closely, he's beating her for the majority of this thing. Oh, and she went to her Instagram. She posted, "Need your help. Go vote for me to go to the Elite Eight. I have to beat this guy. If you vote, send a DM done, and I'll send you a surprise."
Do we have any info on what the surprise is?
I actually did. I
so
looked.
What did you get?
I couldn't find any information on what the
come
surprise was.
on.
We need to find out what the surprise is.
My kids like going to a restaurant, Rob. I don't even care much for the food, but they got the stupid toy chest at the front. And they will give the kids a dollar store toy.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's like if I ask my kids, where should we go for dinner?
They want to go there.
They just want to go there because there's like a dollar store toy.
It used to be Swiss Chalet for us back in the day when we were kids.
Yeah, they had a toy chest too. It's not like a chain restaurant, but I guess they've adopted that strategy. I want to know what dollar store toy Taylor was offering her kiddies.
She doesn't like Spinfluencer. She quote tweeted one of his tweets saying, "This guy's entire life is making fun of other people. Imagine being that miserable." So there's very clearly beef, which is always makes for the best matchups in anything when there's like a kind of a heated rivalry.
I would say she's in the super majority in how she views the Spinfluencer account. And minority.
Yeah. Minority.
Well, it depends because we come at it with a different lens. So like the Novig tournament is the people who are interacting with this, I would say, are more on the sharper side of gambling Twitter, which is why a lot of the matchups between like recreational creator versus sharp creator or better, they always skew towards the sharp one. And if you look at this matchup in particular, right, Spinfluencer has like 5,000 followers on Twitter. Taylor Mathis has more than 200,000. This was a 50-50. Literally was 50-50 going into the final hour.
She doesn't just have 200,000. She activated the army.
I know.
And still barely won.
She activated the army and won by a nose hair. Which is like what an incredible achievement for Spinfluencer.
I would entirely agree with you. So that if you look at the hour leading up to the final results of this poll, she was messaging people on Twitter publicly.
What do you mean?
Like she was tagging someone at Geoff Feinberg. Can you throw me a vote for this? It would really mean a lot to me. She threw out like 60.
Yeah.
Like
And we're all there. Like, we're all human. Like, the pretty girl asks you to hold her book, you might hold the book for
I
right?
tweeted Spinfluencer lost a battle but won the war because the
I
amount
totally
of
agree.
shame she had
This
to go
is true.
through
Kinda
to
stunning
scrape
to
over
me.
the line
Like,
is unbelievable.
But she hates him so much. Like, think about the amount of hate to spend your time winning
Nah,
like
man.
an
That's
influencer
so,
bracket.
That's
Like,
so embarrassing.
But
What
how- like, I
the
just don't
lengths
understand
he went
how-
through is so embarrassing.
Like,
to
how with
witness.
200,000
What was the
followers does it
surprise?
I don't
Let
know.
us know if you know, please.
By the way,
let
this
us know.
tweet, I actually fucking died of. Good
So
always
good.
prevails over evil is one of the funniest tweets. Like, this is, think about the mindset.
Yeah.
She was going to war in this influencer bracket. I will say, I find it pretty. I want to choose my words correctly here. I'm going to say sad. I find it sad that someone with over 200,000 followers on Twitter who's actively promoting this could barely beat out someone with 5,000 followers on Twitter. So it tells me one of two things. One, either Spinfluencer stock is like extremely, extremely high in the Sharp community, or that Taylor's following is very engaged with her, but does not have a lot of influence.
They will not run when she says to run.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, from my perspective, like, Taylor is the chief winning officer.
Yeah.
I think that's her title for Novig. If I was Novig and I saw her needing to, like, go to Instagram to get votes to beat someone with 5K followers, that's a burner account, that would tell me something about her ability to influence.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She has followers, but they don't
smaller
care
than-
to like engage. They're just there for
They're there for the
sunny days.
Not the
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
They're there for
As
the walk.
Shawn Michaels said to Bret Hart, sunny days.
Sunny days. I remember that.
Yeah.
There's some
Did not
content.
like
There's
that.
some content that you consume privately, but don't want to expose yourself for watching that.
Well, you can
But you
vote
can
for
vote,
her.
you
That
know,
doesn't
yeah.
expose you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but you just enjoy
Yeah.
the content. You don't need to, like you said, go to war for this person.
Yeah, but a vote isn't exactly that much. It is kind of
If
stunning
she
to
had,
me
like,
how hard of a time she had.
if she had like a sponsored product, like if she had a show and like they ran an ad, like sponsored the product, I don't think like her audience would support her in that way.
Yeah, so like there's levels of engagement, right? So I feel very strongly in my following, right? It's why I'm really careful about the products we promote and stuff like that. I have been since, at least for the last decade or so. But there's certain people that have a highly engaged following where if you tell them to do, like, look at Icyvert. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
The guy that's winning the tournament. I don't know who the fuck he is, but he puts out one tweet of like, Icyvert Army, let's go, whatever. And boom, there's like 2,000 votes that come in on him. Like, that's an engaged following.
I'll even like be biased in a way. Like I think our boy Pat Mayo, like
Yeah.
if he said his audience, like these are my sponsors, I need you to buy this. I swear to you,
Right.
they would like run to, like they
To
would just
support.
be all in.
Right.
My favorite part of this whole contest was people having to find the division between like not wanting to show they care, but also wanting to win. Because I think people
Yeah.
had to fight
It's
between
true.
that. Like, how much do I want to embarrass myself
It depends
to
on your
promote it
matchup.
while
Yeah.
showcasing I don't care?
Like,
But there was a lot of people probably feeling that way. Like, oh, I don't want to feel like I care, but I do and want to win.
I think everyone had
Totally
a different
agree.
mentality
Yeah.
to this. Rufus's was hilarious because he had no idea why he was in this tournament. And they're like, you're an influencer. He's like, I don't want to be known as an influencer.
But like, I didn't really get what like Rufus's point. Like, he has a podcast. Like,
He does. He's on a podcast.
It makes perfect sense.
He simulated the entire first round and posted it. Took him 30 minutes to do it. But
And he likes a lot of attention too, Rufus.
Yeah.
Like he goes on shows and most of the time, 99.9% of the time, probably is the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
And he likes to go on shows and have that proven.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad thing.
I almost
for-
think Rufus, the people who are on the Rufus like side of preeminent, like of top shelf, they don't even like how public facing he is with some of his stuff. I think.
I would agree, but again, like for me, it was confusing with Rufus. Like, he does a podcast. Like, it would be different if he just had a Twitter account, but like he does a podcast. He owns Unabated, right?
Yeah.
Like,
he's part owner, yeah.
part owner. Like,
Yeah.
he's clearly in this
Realm.
world.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that as well. But to Jacob's point, I think it depends on the person. Like I said, like for me, my first matchup was Steffi Smalls. I've interacted with her maybe a few times before. Like, I know of her, but I don't chat with her regularly. I could care less. As soon as you put me up against Kanish, I don't want to lose to Kanish because Kanish is going to talk about that for the next.
I think that's a
5
bit
years,
different,
right? Then I match up against Benson in the semis. I almost wanted to quote tweet and said, vote for Benson. Like, I love Benson. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Neither of us are promoting. So I think it depends on your matchup.
But it was just people trying to play it off like it doesn't matter, but also they very much wanted to win.
Yes.
That was the
But I think
division
that's
people
fair.
had.
Also,
I think that's normal behavior.
well,
Yeah, but it was just still funny and entertaining to follow that.
I agreed.
Now, a bunch of the Book It personalities were put into the bracket at the start. And then after the first round, they were removed. And it was revealed on the Elf Spaces that legal from Book It said, like, no, you can't use our personality.
Really embarrassing.
I wish like Novig. I wish they had. I get it. It's not even worth the hassle.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say. So they're like, fucking sue us. You use your
Yeah.
fucking picture. You guys tweet all fucking day. You make images. Bring it on. Write the
I
letter.
thought it was really embarrassing.
Yeah, I thought it was such a bad look. I would almost even assume. I'm naive enough to think like Trent was probably unhappy with his boss's decision to do something like that.
I agree. I agree.
Because he
I think he probably
enjoys
was like-
engagement. He respects what's happening here a little bit. To like be that sort of, like I called, do the Raz thing. Like that's soft serve baby shit. It's arrogance and baby shit wrapped in one. That doesn't just apply to other people. It applied to Book It. Yeah,
It was
baby
like
shit.
my
That's baby shit.
best guess would be Book It has, I would guess, an exclusive deal with Prize Picks because they're constantly promoting Prize Picks nonstop. My guess would be that
So their guys can't,
educated
their guys
guess.
weren't allowed to retweet it. Like in the same way Jack Mack, because of DraftKings and thing, he's like, I'm in this thing, but I'm not like
can't promo
acknowledging it even exists.
Yes.
that
That's
would be
fine.
fair.
Yes.
But to say like we're sending legal to have you
Yeah.
remove us,
Just
that's
embarrassing.
baby shit.
Yeah. I just wonder. We'll never. I mean, I guess we could know. We could just ask Trent directly. But my guess would be that it came from the sponsor and not Book It, where they're like, you guys have to disassociate from this. That would be my very best guess because they do like engagement. Like they're
sure.
building a brand on Twitter engagement,
Yeah.
right? Like
You got to play the fucking internet sometimes.
Yes. I will say I'm souring a lot on Takes by Jay recently for a few issues.
Your employee.
One, he got us this computer in studio, which is, it's supposed to be like a top of the line thing that he built himself like 5 months ago. It's a piece of shit.
well,
Is he a mole inside this company?
I told you pre-show that you bear all responsibility for allowing that to happen.
Of course. It's. I know it's on me as much as it's on him.
Is he getting paid by Simon Hunter, Rob?
It's very
to
possible.
sabotage you?
I hear him in the spaces now and then, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to go in there and fucking bury him sometimes, and he comes in like really, really hot. He's like really upset, when you could tell. And
Like even this, you're selling a 5-second video for $3. What about that is good? Like
That's a good tweet.
I
You
actually
gotta
like
give
like
that
this.
to
I
him.
like this
No,
one.
I like
come
this
on.
one because she said good prevails
Yeah,
over
good
evil.
prevails over evil. She's,
I don't know.
Selling a 5-second video for $3.
5 seconds, $3.
I don't know.
One
It's
video.
like-
At least make it like a video roll.
He's just so up in arms about all these things that I just don't know why he cares so much.
I
we could
like
say-
that he cares.
We'll get to it later in the show, but we each pick our bat.
Yeah.
The funny thing about this is if you were to rewind to like the first episodes we did of Circle Back, who was the biggest Taylor Mathis fan? It was Takes by Jay. I don't know what's happened over the course of 23 weeks.
Good point.
He has done a complete 180. He's lost it. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm losing it with him as well. And
This was a good tweet.
Well, if you were watching the show so far, there were some issues in the first segment which were related to the PC that we have.
yes, nothing that Jacob did himself. Kirk, you tweeted this. It's one of my favorite memes to put together. Actual markets people want with the straight arrow, the right arrow, influencer head-to-head matchups, and then Novig being the car that is steering right.
Well, so we're in Canada, so obviously I can't bet on Novig.
Yeah.
But let's just say, hypothetically, I've heard
Yeah.
that there are people who are asking for specific markets for weeks.
Yep.
And they haven't been put up, and then they're influencer head-to-head matchups.
I get that.
This is like yelling at like the GM about something the marketing team does. Right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like these are just
Yeah, this is the point I was
we
going to
can't
make.
yell at because you didn't like the bobblehead promotions that we're going to yell about who's playing third base. Like
I'm with you on
is
that.
sort
No,
of
no,
what.
no, but sorry.
No,
It's not the Twitter tournament.
This
They
is-
put up markets.
Oh,
who is gonna win.
Yeah,
okay,
like
sorry.
literally when I was
Oh.
beating
Okay,
Kanish,
sorry.
there was like
Okay.
a market.
You're right. I remember that.
Okay,
I
this is-
I read that
okay.
wrong.
That was
This
a
is
little
valid,
bit of my
very valid.
frustration.
Yeah, that is kind of a little bit fair, you know.
There's some copycat stuff that's happening. I saw that I got tagged in this HBK Bets March Madness one. I got to tell you, this guy Omar must hate my guts by now because I don't ever go on his spaces anymore or whatever. But like once it's been done, you got to come up with some sort of new idea.
This Omar guy, it's getting to a level of embarrassment.
You are in this
that's
bracket,
much.
though, Rob.
I know I'm a 3. This is why I figured out that I was in it. I got tagged as like a 3 seed with like some description as to why. I like the thought process that went into it, but it was just done this week. Like it's time to move on and do something else.
No, this was embarrassing to literally copy the idea in the same week. Is
Omar
ridiculous.
needs to take a breather.
I mean, listen, he put forget influencer brackets. This one is all about the true gambling spaces speakers. So they're trying to do something different, but there's too much overlap, you know?
Listen, Rob, we worked in we had to produce like 3-hour radio shows daily. So we've all done the chocolate bar bracket, the cereal bracket.
Yeah.
Like it's bracket season, baby.
It's true.
Right?
It is the lowest hanging fruit. Brackets
Fair.
are so easy to develop.
I saw just like some of the bracket. Then like because you're on Twitter, it's hard to avoid these things. Like Outkick's got a bracket, and, like
Yeah.
the other version of the other side bracket.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's always
brackets
season.
and drafts.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
are
bracket season.
Very tier rankers. Very easy to produce content that way. Switch gears to our next topic. I'm going to throw up the X right here as we do so. That's not X. I mean, but pet peeve of mine, people who call Twitter X. I mean, I'm just old school, but throwing up the X for Dez Bryant, who is now promoting a Discord. Join the Discord and tune in tomorrow for exclusive info on the money route. Don't miss out.
And then there was another one that got deleted. I just want to point out some tweets were deleted by Dez.
Which is interesting because they were just promoting this Discord. So this was talked about a little bit on the Elf Spaces on Sunday night in terms of what Dez is doing. He's been very explicit saying that he's not selling picks in the Discord. I don't have access into the Discord, but it seems like, I mean, this is his description. I tapped into the space on some chill shit, and folks are mad because I'm here. They're fabricating lies. Most cappers are broke, and they mainly profit from selling picks. I'm entering this space because I have more to offer than most, which is a fact. By the way, for the billionth time, I am not a capper. Keep your notifications on. So what I'm trying to piece together here is what's going on with this Discord. It seems like he's kind of like the face of it. He's not necessarily selling picks. He's starting to interact with the betting community a lot. They tried to get him into some spaces. Elf said, let's make it happen, Dez Bryant. He said, yup. Then again, he tweeted, Elf, I may need to come on your show sooner rather than later to show people the difference between me and them. I hate that it must be this way. I'm ready to weed out the bullshit anyways. So, what we've established, he says he's not selling picks. He's interacting with people from the betting community, trying to get them into a Discord where, theoretically, some people are selling picks. When I say he's interacting, Geoff's seeing this for the first time. He's dying of laughter, okay? He's dying of laughter. George, GRP, posted, I heard Dez Bryant might be getting in the sports gambling space, so I wanted to show him the napkin trick where the syrup stays on one end of the plate. And it's a picture of him stuffing a napkin under to tilt the plate a little bit. He also tweeted...
Great idea, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to give this as my plus EV move of the week on Circles Off this week. I think it's a great one. Is Dez selling picks now? Dez Bryant responds, fuck no, I'm not a scammer. And then someone tagged us, which you're supposed to do. Hashtag circle back if you want us to talk about something. Dez quote tweeted that and said, I respect this.
I saw that.
Do we think he has any fucking clue what this show is?
Like, I would.
Do you think he knows what that is?
I would
No
normally
chance,
say
man.
very unlikely, but the fact that he knows what the Elf Spaces is and he's kind of now in the gambling Twitter community, it's at least possible.
Yeah.
But I respect this. Like,
I
there's
actually-
nothing to do with this.
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't
what
make
does that even
sense.
mean?
I actually think it's definitely a higher percentage he knows what this is than Rob, but I could actually he might have no clue or think it is something else.
Well, I mean,
Interacting with George also is like a spidey sense that he's like kind of in the know.
he's kind of interacting with everyone, which I find weird. I mean, I think the most likely scenario here is that Dez is like the front man. For somebody reached out to him, they said, "Hey, Dez, like we'll cut you in on X amount of profits, or you own X percentage of this, or whatever." And he's just like the public celebrity face for what's going on, and he probably believes that he's doing some good for the community. Because I think the vast majority of these people do believe he's doing good for the community. I have no idea what this paid Discord looks like, but apparently there's like other people that are giving picks. I can't wrap my head around it all. Other than that, I'm a huge Dez Bryant fan because I was a Cowboys fan. I am a Cowboys fan. And it kind of just pains me to see this a little. It's like, you know, listen, Dez is not like my favorite Cowboy of all time, but someone I rooted for forever. And now he's like implicitly like, or not like perpetuating what is inevitably going to be some sort of scam. Like it hurts me a little bit.
And when you see this, it's hard, to me at least, hard not to think of like, there's probably not much football money left.
That was my first thought.
Maybe.
Like, I don't think you're promoting a Discord if, you know, you put all your football money into the S&P and it's grown 7% year over year.
Yeah,
I just don't think
I agree.
7%, whatever, 10%, 11%.
Yeah,
I just, but it is interesting to see a guy like Dez Bryant in the football and like, in the betting like community replying to George. And it does seem like he has like at least some of a clue. He's like, I'm not a scammer. There's so many people in this industry who are doing bad. I'm trying to do good. Like he clearly like sees gambling Twitter content on his Twitter page.
I actually think that somebody like.
Is telling him what
Well,
to say.
Yeah, somebody's like writing this stuff for him.
Sure.
Oh, I look forward to the 5 minutes of Dez versus Vig in an upcoming Spaces.
Oh, that's gonna be brutal.
Brutal.
But like that's my whole thing, right? Like he'll probably will end up doing these Elf Spaces. He seems pretty sincere about it, which would be a big get for Elf in that. He's gonna go in there and it's gonna be, you know, this is just a prediction, but it's gonna be within 5 minutes. It's gonna be very apparent that he has no idea about anything in the sports betting space, right? I think it's another case of like good intentions, but going to amount to something that inevitably, you know, you're not going to want your name behind type of thing, right? I mean,
Agree.
It's painful, but that's it. We'll head back to Circle Back in just a second. Bobby Pizza here. You know me. I'm a co-owner of Betstamp, and for sharp bettors, March Madness is one of the most profitable times of the year. There's tons of markets you can bet on, player props, derivatives, everything. But it's only profitable if you're a good originator or if you have the right tools. And that's why Betstamp Pro is a must-have for this tournament. It's built for bettors who move fast, delivers real-time data, saves you time, and you unlock new edges to scale your profits fast. The sharpest bettors trust it, and that's because when too many people have access, edges vanish. And that's why Betstamp Pro limits the user base. It keeps the tools exclusive. With Betstamp Pro, you get the sharpest player prop edges. You can find inefficiencies before the lines move across all prop markets. You get a data-backed true line, 5+ years of player prop data, shaping the most accurate market-based true line, and industry-leading sportsbook coverage. You can track full line history and uncover hidden edges across 100+ different sports books, including offshores and PPH books. Tip-off is approaching. We're only offering a limited number of spots to access college basketball throughout the tournament. If you're serious about winning this March Madness, now's your chance to get access. Apply now. Go to betstamp.com/circlesoff. Once spots are gone, they're gone for good. Link is in the description below. Ariel Epstein tweeted, "Why has everyone become so horrible to each other on Gambling X?" Ooh, pet peeve. I just saw the Gambling X. "We all have one goal. Make money by beating the book and have a great freaking time doing it. If everyone has the same goal, why rip apart those just trying to help and grow the business? Obviously, scammers excluded. There's a lot to talk about here, right? I think I get the idea behind the tweet. First and foremost, as someone who joined gambling Twitter more than a decade ago, so I want to say around 2010. It's always been like this.
But when did gambling Twitter start? Because is she talking about Twitter 1.0 when Larry Fitzgerald would tweet, "I'm going to the mall.
Right.
Come say hi to me at Cheesecake Factory."
Right.
That was 1.0.
That was Twitter at one point, yeah.
I'm at the mall.
Live
come
tweeting
say
live.
hi.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And we, right, Rob, and being in content from a long time, it just evolved. We had message boards on websites that we had to monitor, and sometimes the boss said, we got to shut that message board down, and then message boards died, and that discourse went to Twitter.
Yeah.
So I don't know when gambling Twitter actually started to quantify this, but it's all just the same version of the internet.
Yeah, I'm just from when I was younger. So again, I skewed towards the rec side of gambling Twitter when I was younger. All the interactions that I had that were let's call it real betting, were very toxic, right? People like Diggs, who I interviewed recently, Seth Byrne, all the Seaville guys, right? Grooven Mohooven. There was this guy, Norm Gambles. These people used to come after me every single day. And I used to just dismiss them completely as trolls. So this has been happening for ages now. I think the landscape has evolved, though, because back then, I'm not going to say nobody was selling shit, but it kind of felt like nobody was selling shit. Me posting my picks on Twitter, I wasn't selling them or anything. It wasn't really that harmful. Nowadays, there are so many people that are selling things, whether it's picks, Discord, whatever, that I think it completely changes the landscape as a whole.
The reason that this always comes up is because, and the fact that she says obviously scammers excluded is so funny here, because Ariel Epstein looks at herself as a businesswoman who her business is betting and selling picks, and she's running a good business.
Selling not picks, I'll clarify. She has a newsletter
that has picks in it.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The thing is talking baseball.
Yeah.
But no, she's selling information and picks, and people who win gambling think that, okay, if you sell picks and you are a losing gambler, which I personally, in my opinion, think Ariel Epstein is a losing gambler based on what I've seen. I think she's one of the very lower tier losing touts in terms of how much bad she does. But I think her business is doing bad. That's my opinion. And then those people look at themselves as oh, I'm a good person. Why are people being mean to me?
Yeah.
But people who really know look at it as, okay, you are selling a product, and that product is losing sports betting picks. That is bad.
Yeah.
So that is why that contradiction always happens, because the person involved who's getting criticized thinks of themselves as good.
Yes.
And the other person, who typically is a sharper winning bettor, looks at this as, you are selling to unsuspecting customers who think you will help them win money when you won't.
I agree with you on that. I think that there's
And that's not specific to Ariel Epstein at all.
No, it's most of the space.
Every time.
Yeah, agreed. Everybody thinks they're the good guy. Everyone, including us.
100%.
That's the Twitter spaces where you got two people battling it out. Everyone thinks that they are in the position of good. I'm trying to help. The challenge is when you're trying to help, you have good intentions, but you're not actually providing something that helps. And in some cases, you're actually providing something that hurts in a lot of cases as well. But I guess the toxicity of gambling Twitter, for me, that's always been apparent. Here's some reactions here. Jeff Benson from Circa Sportsbook. I may be in the minority, but I enjoy the toxicity and cesspool we call gambling Twitter, as do I. Personally, I'm in the minority. Mark Zinno, who I think is a tout for Wager Talk, I'm pretty sure. The playbook of tearing down others to lift yourself up has been around long before Twitter/X. This platform magnifies it. It's also exasperated by people making self-proclamations about who they are to become a niche attraction for clout, followers, money. The simplest way to combat it, to thine own self be true.
Again, that's like the classic answer of like, oh, you're just tearing people down to lift yourself up. It's like, again, it's just people looking at the situation from two completely different frames. Like Mark Zeno.
Yep.
If I broke it down to him in this way, let's say someone is a shirt seller and they sell shirts, but they're misrepresenting what the shirts are.
Yeah.
Mark Zeno would obviously say, oh, yeah, that person is grifting or doing something bad.
Yeah.
But he can't really recognize. I don't know if he's a winning tout or a losing tout. I've never heard of him. But he thinks, oh, if he was criticizing that shirt seller, he wouldn't say, oh, you're just bringing people down to lift yourself up. He would say, oh, no, that shirt seller is doing something actively bad and deserves criticism. But they just can't see it from that frame.
Well, the rest of the world operates like that. Like if you order a product online that was presented to you in a certain way, and then you get it on your front porch from Amazon, you open it up and you're like, this ain't the product I ordered, everyone would be like, yeah, that's a scam. Like that's but in the sports betting space, it's not viewed that way. It's such a unique space. It really is. But I think it's because there's so many people, Bobby Stanley Jr., because a lot of money is involved now selling picks, and it brings out the worst in people. There's like this generation of people now. This is where I question the original Ariel tweet, which was like, we all have the same goal of beating the books. That's wrong. That's not true. Most people, I want to say most, so many people nowadays don't have a goal of beating the books.
Absolutely.
Their goal is to sell. They just want to sell. They see
They want to beat the customer.
Exactly.
Yes.
And also, by the way, like beating the books is beating other people. Like I'm enough of beating the books. You have to beat other people. This is a marketplace, right? Like that's the way it works. It's not like, oh, we're all in it together, us against the books. No, it's you against other bettors. We got to get rid of that. But Dan Lifshat says, I blame Mathis. I think he was saying that as a joke.
Yeah.
Kelly in Vegas. Are you kidding me? It's better now than when I was getting doxxed in 2011 by 40-plus-year-old men who wanted nothing more than to see me left in the desert. This happened. Like, I remember this. These were, like, Kelly and Seville. Like, this has been happening forever.
But do you know, like, Rob, how many times, even before, like, Twitter fully took off, and, like, people who actually had an actual platform were the celebrities or the blue check marks, and how many times we'd have to, like, talk down certain, like, hosts from some of the negativity they were seeing on Twitter, like, 12 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I remember those days, yeah.
Right, but I'm not even just talking about, I'm sure Kelly's was horrific as a female. I'm not even talking, I'm talking about, like, cool dudes that were just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. It's always been around.
I think my guess would, like, obviously that tweet comes from a place, she's probably getting it worse than ever now, I would guess, in terms of the feedback towards her. I would say that's likely happening because she's selling a product at this point.
Yeah.
But for me, the main points I would say is that, like, the toxicity has always existed on gambling Twitter. And it always will, because there are always going to be people who are, like, gatekeepers for the space. And I don't know what it is, but I certainly feel this way. I know you do, because I've seen your tweets. There's something as a sharp bettor that a lot of us go through when we see something from, like, a recreational that doesn't make sense, where we just, I can't, like...
Sharp bettors are easy to get, like, they wrangle very easily.
Exactly. So it's always going to exist like that, because there's always going to be this collection of people, myself included, that literally can't handle the emotions when they see something really stupid. And that's the honest to God truth.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And they don't take enough solace in just knowing that they're so much smarter in that guy. They got to get, like, hyper worked up. They're easy to get their cage. The cages of sharp Twitter get rattled so easily.
But it's also just the way that the platform works, because it's interaction with one another, right? Like, think about, I don't spend a lot of time on Instagram or TikTok, but you don't get the interactions like you do on Twitter, because Twitter's more conversational. Whereas, like, Instagram, I'll post something about my day, somebody says something stupid on my timeline, I'm just going to delete the comment and block them, and no one's ever going to see this shit again. Whereas on Twitter, it lives, and more people get involved when they see that stuff too. So it's the platform itself that I think causes a lot of that.
Sorry, I want to add one thing. When he says the simplest way to combat it, it's basically just like do your own thing.
Yeah.
Like the simplest way to combat it is if you're selling picks, show a winning record at fair prices at widely available books. Like you could do that, nobody will bother you.
Yeah, well, like Mark Zinno, he's a handicapper at Wager Talk, right? And I'm not. We don't have to go like really deep into all this stuff, but if you really cared about, helping people and things of that nature, I completely agree with Jacob. Like, there's record keeping nowhere to be like these types of businesses. Everyone just assumes that they can sell something in the space and there should never be any backlash for what they're doing.
Absolutely.
But like these are very fair things to call into question, in my opinion. And sometimes you can do it in a way where you're a complete asshole and a jerk. Sometimes you can do it where you're not. There's different ways to go about it. But there is a lot of stuff that's happening in the space right now that is harmful, plain and simple. Is harmful, and for me, I just can't let that slide. And there's other people who can't either.
Yeah, you're talking about like scam shirt salesmen, for example. The issue is on Twitter, there's thousands of scam shirt salesmen and saleswomen who all band together to defend each other, which you don't get for like clothing. Like other clothing brands aren't coming out to say, well, they're just selling clothes. Like you just let them do their own thing.
It's sort of like when you, I haven't been, it's probably been at least 20 years, but like walking through Times Square and people are just bombarding you to buy things. Here, buy this, watch, buy this.
Yeah.
Rob, I'm not really into rap music, if you could guess, but these guys tried to like just hawk
try to
me.
sell you their demos,
I'm waiting
man.
for my wife in a store. They're giving me a CD. I go, here's $5. Leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll never listen to your CD. I don't want your CD, but if you'll stop talking to me, like, leave me alone. Like, here.
I love that.
And that's what it's like. You're just being bombarded with guys who are promoting their knockoff merch.
Yeah. And nowadays we're being bombarded with physical challenges in the space. We've had a bunch this week. We had Jeff Nadeau running a mile in under 8.5 minutes. We had Elf 50 push-ups in a minute. We had Shady Beeve, and DGen Weekly playing one-on-one basketball, 1st to 15 as well.
I missed that as well.
I missed that one.
Okay, it went very, very poorly for DGen Weekly. He lost 15-1. It was rather embarrassing. All of these events have had markets on the sweepstakes exchanges as well. This, for me, feels like we've gone full circle to COVID days where there was nothing else to bet on. So there was all sorts of stupid competitions that were happening out there. I remember betting Kanish under a certain number of push-ups in 10 minutes at Bet Online back in the day. Won a pretty penny off of that because he obviously couldn't do the push-ups. But how do we? There's a lot of topics to go through here because man of the library, has called into question whether or not these things should happen. They should be able to happen or not. He saw stuff like Elf post on his personal Instagram to a friend saying, "I got you, brother," on the push-up competition. I don't know why Library's so upset. He looks like he bet like a total of,
I think it was like $30.
$37.
32, I think was the exact number.
$32.69.
And I know, and for literally in the whole lead up to this thing, every time I was in the spaces it was being talked about, someone would come in and preface like, Trevor, like, you can't cry after this thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're dumb enough to be on the wrong side of a dude telling you he can do it, then you can't cry about it. Even if it was, I guess it was manipulated in the sense that Elf fucking knew he could do it, and his friends knew he could do it. And if Man of the Library didn't see that in the fucking stars because the moon was red as he was on his period, I don't understand what his issue could be here. Now, like betting on yourself, is that a bit of an issue? Sure, I know. Like you Bet Online wouldn't let me bet on myself in our
when we had our
putting,
golf, our mini golf.
But Profit X would let you bet on yourself. So these are just they play by two different rules. I
don't know that they did. So first of Elf arbed himself. Okay.
And he's an arbor, so he was just playing to his brand of, hey, guys, I arbed myself. And Man of the Library is freaking out about that. I don't get it.
I think Library's point, I can't even believe I'm going to say this. I think it's valid in the sense that, like, these are not markets with integrity, so to speak, right? Like, Elf says, I'm going to do...
fucking bet on Elf doing 50 push-ups.
I agree.
No, you can bet on it. You just can't cry about it. We understand the integrity going in. I think everyone does.
And that's where I was getting to. Like, absolutely. Could somebody post a market where or agree to do some sort of challenge that they know they are going to be able to do or not be able to do? Absolutely. That can happen till the end of time. But everybody knows that. Like, the people betting on this know that. No.
This fucking guy. No one spends more time probably in the spaces than this guy. Elf,
well, maybe Jason.
Yeah,
Elf
takes by Jay's up there.
Talks about like how often he's at the gym regularly. He's posted DMs about like girls asking him to work out with them. Like, I don't think you are working out with a girl if you're like mid at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you are. In the same way, Rob, I might take a girl to Topgolf, but I am not bringing her on the course.
No, yeah, you can't see her.
She cannot.
She can't see you shank a driver off the tee into the woods, you know?
The driver's safe. But
no,
just
your driver's
like
pretty good. Bad example.
Things. Yeah. Just the other things, like the simpler things. I don't want her to see like me make a quad.
I know exactly what you mean.
Topgolf, come watch me put on a stripe show. But like it was all like every sign was pointing. He's crying after. He stayed up till 10:30 in the morning crying on the internet about it.
I mean, the real issue for me, and I'm just going to level with everyone here, I don't give a shit about these challenges. No offense to Nate. I'm glad Nadu's lost like 100 pounds and he's in shape now. Do I want to watch him run for 8 minutes on a treadmill? I don't give a fuck. Do I want to watch Elf do 50 push-ups? Not only do I not want to watch him do the 50 push-ups, I don't want to hear him talk about it for an entire week, and I don't want to hear Amanda Vance talking about it. Like, I just want to get back
Elf did the push-ups
to the real beefs.
But let's also call it what it was. The whole thing was an Elf vanity project.
100%.
He knew he could do it. And for Library to be involved that much, and to be like, I'm here for, to have bet the other side and then crying about it is legit insane. But like Elf talked about it for weeks. He created this own. He almost created a reason to take his shirt off and profit from taking his shirt off.
Yeah.
Credit to Elf. Because he did that.
Stock up on Elf, for sure. Guy's jacked, man.
And there's a lot of things I'll make fun of Elf for. Like, 2 thumbs up, credit to this. You said it. Paying Man of the Library $1 back would be
Man of the Library's like, pay me back then for the. I'm like, no. Absolutely do not pay him back.
This is so stupid. Like, somebody successfully completed a challenge. Like, if somebody's in a boxing match and they think they're going to win, like, they didn't rig it because they won the fight and thought they'd win the fight. Like,
Library wants to be like the fucking boxing commission, though, that has all the, like, there was supposed to be 2 camera views. I can't see that his chest touch. Like, they were obviously very good form push-ups.
The only thing I'm giving to Library is, like, Elf, like the second video, and like was another person there. He was like very weird and like coy about,
Geoff.
Which I don't think he had to be. But Man of the Library yelling at Elf for like a haircut was also ridiculous.
Geoff, he's an agitator. He goes in and, like, Nadu. Obviously, if you run on a treadmill, it's very different than running on a track, right?
Nadu said he was doing it on a treadmill.
100%. He made it very clear beforehand he was doing it on a treadmill. That's where the competition was done. But he finds a way to agitate people. That's what Library does. He agitates. It's all like an entire agitation thing. Green Means Go tweeted, "My biggest fear tonight was that the Elf push-ups would lack legitimacy and technicalities would become a nightmare. Was not the case. Clearly accomplished the task at hand. My new biggest fear is that the sweepstake books will continue to wrap up legitimate markets that can be easily manipulated."
So I think there are 2 big takeaways. One, a lot of people bet on this, and that's really good for the sweepstakes books.
Yep.
Because clearly Elf has like motion right now. Like people are fucking into Elf, and that's clearly being really good for him. But also like just the fact that people cared, I thought was really good for the exchanges. Because like Playmaker Dave talked about it on one of the spaces. Like people were talking about it in the space, and like I don't think people realize that how interested people would be
Yes.
in stuff like this. And then the second takeaway is, man, the library's a fucking moron. Who cares about what he said? But the real problem is when something like this happens, a lot is bet on it, and either Elf or Nadu lose, and like there's some like maybe it's sketchy on how they lost and how hard they were going, and then it comes out after they took a position against themselves.
Yeah.
That's when this would become like, oh shit, like that's really sketchy and really weird, and then they probably need to stop. That's like the integrity part.
Yeah.
You should be expected to bet on yourself. And also in these competitions, the expectation is like, obviously Elf thinks he can do 50 push-ups. He wouldn't do it otherwise. So
Yeah, no one wants to embarrass themselves.
You're betting against Elf being delusional or choking under pressure. That's what you're betting the no on. Obviously, he thinks he can.
You're
And I
betting
think
into a
Elf-
market where you
and
have
Elf
all
has
this
been-
info.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And I would say Elf, like, even, like, I don't think he's delusional. I've listened to enough spaces where, like, I don't think he's delusional. I mean, there's things he might do that I don't agree with. There's some shows where I think I'm getting one product and I get a completely other product that I'm not interested in, whatever. But I don't think there's no chance he would do that. If anything, you've learned he's way too vain to have fucking put a number he'd lose on.
Yes. Well, that's why yes was the obvious bet.
Like the thing for me is obviously the sweepstakes books should lean into this. It's a differentiator for them. The regulated books cannot offer.
So what's going to happen in golf season? I don't mean more with us. I mean, like, golf seems like the ultimate, like, Twitter goober contest sport.
Sure,
Like,
I mean, but listen, I just
I'm
think that-
calling us Twitter goobers too. in that.
100%. And I don't know. There should be very clear rules with each market. But at the end of the day, if you're betting on this stuff, like, you should be doing it. These are fun bets.
Yes.
Like, this is recreational bets.
Yes.
You should not be dropping, $5,000 on, when Joey Knish says he can run the 8-minute mile. Like, we should not be doing that. These are for engagement, and they're just like to provide some entertainment.
There is
value
clearly
in life.
opportunity for people who actually know the person to freaking cash, as we saw.
Of course, and that's why I'm suggesting to anyone out there, if you're gonna bet it for a sweat, sure, throw fucking $10-20 down on it. But like, yes, this is a market where there's going to be an informational advantage
Yes.
every single time,
Yes.
and you got to know that going in. Like, when Elf posts the 50 push-ups, when it gets posted on Profit X or whatever, and somebody fucking seeds the market with $8,000 on the yes, he's gonna do it. Like,
Yes.
maybe the warning signs, the alarm bells are going off in other people's heads of like, maybe possibly someone really knows he can do this, But this was, a really old tweet from Knish here. It's just weird because it's all coming full circle with gambling Twitter now. The stuff that was popular that's how fads work and trends, and over time they just come back into place.
Nothing's worse than getting blocked from making a bet at the worst possible moment. It's March Madness, and imagine you have a pregame bet you want to make or a live bet you want to make, and suddenly your deposit won't go through. Your card gets flagged, your PayPal freezes, or your bank account just decides, nope, not today. I've only been betting for 3 or 4 years, and I've already had this happen countless times. It's frustrating, and it just happens way too often. That's why so many bettors, both pro and everyday bettors, are switching to Edge Boost. It's the first ever dedicated bank account built specifically for sports betting, DFS, casino, and sweeps. No more deposit issues, no more bank interference. Just smooth transactions every time. The Edge Boost Visa debit card is available across the US and lets you move up to $250,000 per day. Plus, you earn cash back on every deposit. If you're betting upwards of $10,000 a week, and I know a lot of you watching are, that's $100 to $400 back in your pocket every single week. You can use that to fire some more March Madness bets. Maybe you can put a future down. Maybe you can build your bankroll, or just pocket that money. Save up. That money is going to add up real fast for you. Now, whenever Edge Boost comes up, the same question always comes up. Is this legit? Many people and many of our viewers thought just this, but now They're using Edge Boost. Tons of people in the community are already using it. Take Elf, who runs the Twitter Spaces. He's stacking up cash by using Edge Boost on all of his deposits that he was going to be making anyways. Look at Spinfluencer, and we had him on Circles Off. He talked about taking money out of his account and replenishing them frequently. Well, if you're going to be doing that, you may as well be getting cash back on those deposits and have no issues making those deposits to begin with. If you're betting seriously, this is a no-brainer. Don't wait until you get blocked again. Click the link in the description below and start earning today. But now, let's circle back to the rest of the episode.
All right, last week's comments here. After one appearance, Mike Vivian says, Joey K has entered the conversation with Geoff to be the Stephen A. and Skip of sports debates. Two GOATs. How do you like being compared to Stephen A. or Skip, Geoff?
I mean, I think it's a compliment, so I'm not going to be insulted. That's good. Yeah, that's nice. I like Joey a lot. I thought he did a good job last week.
So did I. Actually, I will say, of all the comments last week, it was very, very clear to me that people really enjoyed Kanish on this show. One of the challenges, and I read every single piece of feedback every single week because we want to make this show better going forwards. One of the challenges is I like having this show in studio, and for those that might not know why, it's really easy to host it and direct the conversation. I can look at Kirk, and Kirk knows that he's talking next. I could look at Geoff. We can have those. Having Kanish broadcast via his basement, I think might take away from it a little bit, but we're working on some options. So more on that, but I do value the feedback. Please leave us some comments. Make sure you like and subscribe here as well. I blame you guys for mushing Big Cat to Jeff O'Reilly.
Yeah.
That was obviously, that was inevitably going to happen. He was going to lose a pick regardless of whether or not we talked about him, but yes, it happened. Italian Mamba, shower orange is not good. I don't know why this comes up every week because we never talk about it on the show anymore, but we did talk about it on fucking Jason on the Forward Progress.
Jason's got the pull, man.
Watch along. Talked about eating an orange. Somebody said they love shower beers. I personally like a shower beer after like a day of golf where I'm hot. I come home, take a cold shower with a beer. Love that. Jason said to try a shower orange. This might be the next piece of stupid, engaging content we have to do. I cannot imagine a shower orange being any good.
No, I don't want to eat anything in the shower.
Where do you throw the peel? That's what I don't understand. Do you peel it before you get in the shower?
You must.
Shower orange. Luxury rides for you. This may come off as sounding like man yells at cloud, but man of the library getting any respect in any space, forum, or public gathering rubs me the wrong way. If someone can change personalities like a chameleon on Adderall, then they deserve zero attention from anyone. It encapsulates a lot of gambling Twitter these days where everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame, regardless of how shitty a human you may be.
Totally agree.
That's one of the real problems. That's
Totally
one of the
agree.
real problems.
You gave him too much respect last week.
You did.
I gave Library too much respect?
Yeah.
What did I say about him?
You said
Well,
he
a
was
lot of
very
people
You were just.
He had turned the corner a bit on a lot of
No,
people.
but it's a
and then
shtick.
last week,
It's all a shtick. Like, this is not how he is. This is all... He's just pushing buttons, dude.
No.
He lives off of pushing buttons.
You're still defending him.
Look, he's a goof. Let me make that extremely clear. But it's all a shtick. Like, everyone just keeps giving him the time of day in these spaces. Yeah. He comes in, he pushes buttons. Someone joins and argues with. Like, it's cyclical. He's a very good agitator. He's still a complete goof. Don't get me wrong. No, but he's an agitator.
What you got to do now is just picture the fedora on the other side of the screen.
Yeah. It's true. Absolutely.
You won't be as aggrieved.
A reminder, you want to get your comments up, leave a comment down below. And I do have an announcement really quickly. Winner of the swag giveaway. We're going to do one of these every single week. Last week's winner is Lee H. Rat 9591. That's your YouTube handle, Lee H. Rat 9591. What you got to do is email circlesoff@thehammer.bet. Just reach out to us. Give us your sizing, your address, personal details. We'll get you out your swag bag. Another one being given away next week. It's going to include some Circles Off gear, some Betstamp gear. You got to do 3 things. First thing you got to do, Sub to this channel. Sub to Circles Off here on YouTube. Number 1, out of the way. Number 2, leave us a comment. Could be about anything. Could be that you want the swag bag. It could be any comment. Doesn't matter. As long as you leave one, you're entered in the swag bag giveaway. And number 3, subscribe to Circles Off HQ on Twitter, on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. 3 things. Sub here, sub on Twitter, leave us a comment. It's that easy. We're doing the airing of grievances. It is not Festivus. That is late December. We are not in December. We're in March. However, both of you guys, usually it's me getting into I had a really quiet week on Twitter. I didn't tweet a lot. My wife's away. I've been having a great time. It's keeping to myself. Kirk has been going at it with the Right Angle Sports account. Geoff has been feuding with Steve Fezzik account. I'm going to give you... Okay, you take issue with saying feuding? Because it looks like feuding.
Sure, but it's like an offshoot of like Right Angle Sports thing.
Okay.
Though.
They're all connected.
Yeah, it's all like feels like it's interconnected here.
Well, there's also more to it, and I will let you guys both speak your piece in 1 second. One of the inherent challenges with this show is we talk about the same people a lot that come up regularly. They never get a chance to defend themselves. And I'm very cognizant of that. We have our own platform. We speak our minds. It's one-sided because these are our opinions. I talked to Jared Smith privately this week about that as well, because last week he came up in commentary, but they don't get a chance to defend themselves. And a lot of this just, we do a show, we say our things, and then a lot of the conversation happens on Twitter. Quote tweets back and forth, it gets out of hand. So there's a reason like this argument doesn't happen in real time. It just like kind of extends over the course of a week. And I think because of that, things escalate like way quicker.
Yeah.
Way. Like, okay, Kirk, Right Angle Sports this week. What's the beef? Why are you going back and forth?
So, well, yeah, they really crashed out. So I think Right Angle Sports thinks like I have like a personal vendetta against them, which I don't. I have no problem with any of them. I'm sure even Ed Golden, who I think runs a Twitter account, is a good guy. I'm sure I would like him. But like I just tweet what I think, and honestly, like Right Angle Sports is the most expensive service.
Okay.
That I know of like sharper, respected pick sellers, however you want to say that.
Sure.
And their product has just turned into something that I could never recommend to anyone. So I posted at them that they've been negative over the last three years in college basketball. They responded they're up 70 units over the last 3 years overall. I clearly showed how if you're up 70 units, paying thousands of dollars with lines that are impossible to get or extremely hard to get.
Yes.
And plays that absolutely destroy accounts, I just can't, because I think in their head they're like, we're playing major markets with big limits. But big limits only really exist if the line lasts for more than 0.1 of a second.
Sure.
So it just doesn't really matter that they play more competitive times or more competitive markets, because you're obviously not betting it at Pinnacle, Chris, or Bet Online. Maybe one person can get one of those sites.
Sure.
Then if you're someone else, you're either betting legals, which you're going to get restricted extremely quickly, and then you're going to be able to bet essentially nothing. Maybe PPHs, but we know that PPHs are kind of going as a thing of the past. And their ROI is like 3% in the absolute rosiest of cases. So it's not anything personal against them. I cannot see one logical reason or one person it would make sense to subscribe. And I tweeted, and Rath wasn't happy. They said I argued in bad faith. I tweeted, respond to me or DM if you're a Rath subscriber of the last few years and you've had a positive experience. As of recording of the show, there were 0. I think actually I looked on Twitter and one person responded with something positive. And I did get DMs of negative things. So the fact that they have a negative ratio of that, and I am being genuine. If you have a positive experience of RAS over the past few years, DM me or comment on my Twitter. I am happy to change my mind. But how could I possibly recommend them as a service
Okay.
if those are the parameters.
We're gonna get this hashed out at some point, because I will say, I'm not just playing devil's advocate, but you say it's not personal.
Yes.
It from my perspective, and this is not just through Twitter, it comes off as very personal. Just outside looking in. Second thing, just listening to your response, I can already tell you there's going to be like a million things. Of course, no one would be following Kirk Evans that's like a RAS subscriber or thinks highly of them, because you guys are at war right now. So you're not going to get people reaching out to you saying Kirk.
I actually don't agree with that at all.
But
I think in the sharp betting community, there might be people that like Raz, respect Kirk, and might be able, I don't fully agree with everything Kirk said, and I'll get to my piece in a minute, but I actually do agree that there would be definitely people in his audience who are intermingling.
Yes.
Intermingling
fair
there
enough.
for sure.
Listen, I'm not a RAS apologist by any stretch of the imagination, but I can already tell you that based off of that 3 minutes there where you kind of spoke your piece, that's going to lead to another 6 hours wasted from you and Ed Golden.
Well, but the thing is, I made all these points on Twitter, and they just replied with quotes of me from 3 years ago. Sure. Keep going.
So that was like the gotcha moment.
The gotcha moment was something I said on the podcast last week. I remember saying it. Obviously, I'll stick by it.
Well, there's a few things. The one was where you said something good about RAS like a year ago that they used.
Multiple years ago
That they used against you, which, by the way, your tweet about I learned that I was really dumb back in 2023 was a very funny one, I thought. But also they you admitted on this podcast that sometimes you like to shit disturb a little bit. You'll be sitting at your desk and you're bored and whatever. And I think that's also being used against you.
Yeah, no, that's what they tweeted. Yeah, I said that last week. I do that, but it's not that I'm posting something I don't believe to shit disturb.
Right.
It's more okay, this would be I'm scrolling through if I wanted to, I could respond to thousands of tweets with things that I disagree with. I don't have enough time in a day to do that at all times. So I'm saying normally if I'm in a mood to post something and get into a Twitter fight, those are the circumstances. It's not like I'm tweeting something that I don't believe.
Got it. I have some ideas as to how we could potentially not squash this beef, but make it a more of a fair fight. Geoff, you and Fezzik, you guys were boys for a while.
Yeah, okay,
he's
so
texting you every day. Yeah. So what's going on here?
So let's just back the bus up a little bit here. And sure, I live my own reality. That's true. I'd like firstly to start this off by thinking everything about Raz, I've always been complimentary to say it's obvious they move markets. So if you can get in on it, then there's clear value there. I put them, they're top shelf. They're top shelf. I've always said historically, beef or no beef, the guy who runs the Twitter account doesn't seem very good at the internet. If I was Raz, I would just charge my prices and say nothing, like a lot of top tier brands. Now, it started because last week you made a comment. They took offense to it. I would say, in knowing Rob, and again, I live in my own reality, Rob is very fair to Raz. I've seen Rob in public be very fair to Raz. Golf with Rob, my friends bet hard. By the fourth hole, one of them who won't admit it, who I think subscribes to Raz already, asks Rob about Raz, and his response is not what Ed thinks it would be. It's actually quite fair. It's more do you sweep floors at your dad's factory like Feinberg, or do you got to take clients in the day?
Right.
Right? And they'll be well, I'm a lawyer. Be I don't know if Raz is actually good for you.
Yeah.
Because
you need to get down quick.
You need to get down.
Yeah.
So I come from a perspective of you actually being very fair to Raz, in my opinion.
Okay.
So then Raz took great offense with you made a comment last week. Ed hit a rope over first base, the second baseman who hits before the pitcher. He hits one over first base. It dribbles into the corner. He gets to third. It was a good tweet. Yeah. It was no Adam Dunn moonshot, but it was a good tweet.
Yeah.
Do I respond? Do I not respond? You go, great tweet, man, even though your bar is low.
Yeah.
But hold on. But everyone on Twitter knows, on gambling Twitter knows, the guy who runs Raz Twitter isn't great at tweeting.
Yeah.
That is not a thing Feinberg created last week.
Yeah.
That is a documented thing.
Okay.
So then in defense of Rob, in the same way, Jared Smith defended Fezzik, maybe I got extra defensive because Ed writes this whole paragraph about you, and I think you've actually been pretty fair to Raz, both on air and off air, how I have seen it. So my response is, like, this guy's pretty freaking soft. You're just, like, soft. Like, you run the highest priced platform on here that comes with a level of scrutiny that they don't seem to understand exists. But top tier, and I acknowledge they're top shelf. And what, like, do you fucking see Rolex arguing with people on the internet?
Right.
Does Rolls Royce argue with people? If you're worth what you charge, your product is impenetrable.
Yeah.
The people who pay for it are happy. I have too many subscriptions. I got 3 kids and a wife. The amount of things that auto-renew on my credit card each month is disgusting that I don't even use. It's embarrassing. I really should go through it and tame it down. But if I was getting auto-renewed on something that cost $3,000 or $10,000, I promise you it would not auto-renew unless it was delivering for me.
Yes.
If I wanted something and it was giving me something else, I wouldn't be there long.
Right.
This is not $9.99 a month, like the other auto-renews hitting the account. So that's just my whole thing. And maybe I've got Rob, like, you've known me personally, like, that's just how I communicate.
Yes.
Like, I am a brash communicator.
Yes.
And people who aren't friends of mine, like, it can be off-putting, but that's just how I communicate. I'm not really going to apologize for it. But overall, that's just my advice to Rad, like, charge what you charge. Charge it. But do not, defending it is actually
making it worse.
Really bad for your brand.
Yep.
It hurts the brand to defend the price point. You just fucking charge it. Okay? That's my opinion.
Okay. I will say, just
maybe I missed some. Oh,
there is like a smaller RAS package that they talk about.
It's got WNBA. It's got WNBA.
Yeah, stuff like
someone
that.
Had me research it. I'm sorry. It's a WNBA thing. So congratulations. You charge $200 if I want, like, WNBA picks.
Second halves.
That's
smaller
not like,
leagues, props.
What if I want something baseball? I want something NFL. I got to pay real
I'm
fucking money.
just setting the record straight. I'm just setting the record straight.
Sure, I understand they got real packages, but you could. That's semantics as far as I'm concerned. And as for Fezzik, he chirps me in my DMs to say, I guarantee you Raz will hit 53%. I go, I've actually never insulted Raz the product. I've only insulted the guy tweeting for Raz.
Yeah.
And my professional advice would be, at that price point, be a top tier brand.
Yeah.
Don't fucking argue. Right? And except because you're charging that, you're going to take so much more fucking heat than anyone. I actually like Chernoff. I don't think he runs a Twitter. I've never had an issue with it. So my issue with Fezzik, when he came at me, was like, in my head, I'm like, Steve, we had this conversation in my DMs yesterday, and you came away with a tweet that I actually had to show you, Rob, where he's like, I agree. He agreed. And then the next day, he wants to, like, relitigate it with me publicly.
Yeah.
And you know me, like, Rob, I'm like Ed. I am not like a perfect tweeter. I can be emotional and tweet stupid things, but I don't represent a brand that charges $10K for a service. I'm your friend, and I'm Pat Mayo's Dingleberry, and when I leave here, I'll go sweep my dad's factory floors. That's what I represent. I don't stand for a brand. And if there's things I've got an ownership in the DFS gambling world, you wouldn't even know, because that wouldn't do them favors, and it wouldn't do me favors, and I respect that, because I like being able to say whatever the fuck I want.
I appreciate that.
Okay? So, yeah, I'm not a perfect tweeter. You can rile me up on Twitter the same way Ed gets riled up, but I am not the leader of a service that charges that. So we don't play by the same fucking rules.
Well said. I'm going to clarify one more time. No 10K packages. I just want to set the record
sorry,
straight.
3K. I didn't mean that.
I don't know what the prices are
what
for
is
football
like the
season.
full year?
But I don't know.
If I want everything.
If I want everything,
if you want everything, I
think it's going to cost you a couple dimes at least for the full year of football, I would guess.
If you want full year of everything, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Over 6K, I don't care.
It's an expensive package relative to the rest of market. We all agree on that.
And they move markets.
Yes.
So they get respect for that.
Yeah.
And like, that is proven. That is undeniable. They track they are, like I said, they are the top of the legitimate circle, right?
Yeah.
We can't include like them in the same category. They'd be more insulted if I included them in the category with the true scammers, which I'm not even penetrating like that, because I don't believe that.
Yeah, I personally just wonder how we ever put a bow on this conversation, or if that will ever happen, because it's kind of cyclical, right? It's like we have this platform. You guys talk about it. It leaves this. It comes to Twitter. We come and talk about it the next week. There's got to be a way.
All right, whatever. I'm not canceling a week at the Four Seasons because some doofuses on a travel blog bash the Four Seasons.
I agree.
It is a product that stands on its own.
I'm with you. I agree with what you're saying on
At
that.
the price point for which it charges,
Yes.
it is an impenetrable product. That's how I look at it. Maybe that's unfair. Maybe that's an unfair POV because in the end, it's still just picks and fucking
But that's just
Twitter.
the way the world works.
But
if
that's
something's
just what
more
I look.
expensive, you hold it in a higher regard. And
we've all been there with any product, Rob, where we're like, should I buy this like private label nothing?
Yep.
Should I spend the fortune on this? Should I get the mid-level? Like we do this every day with every product we buy. We kind of have these debates with ourselves.
Yep.
And when you buy the good ones and you keep going back to it, it's probably doing something right. And you go to that really fancy restaurant and it's not good anymore and you can get the same fucking meal at the Keg. You're just like, we're going to the Keg, sweetie.
yeah, totally agree. See you tonight. No one's going to get our followers like 90% American right now.
You know, when I was in Arizona, I saw a Keg.
Really? No.
I swear on my life, it was like certainly not going to go there for dinner out of country, like
Yeah.
here, but I almost wanted to take a picture.
I took Joey Knish to the Keg.
Yeah.
I went to the Keg with G-Stack George last week as well. George Sulfides. Oh, what a fine
It's one of the consistent,
Very consistent.
establishment to
We need a Keg
establishment. It
sponsorship.
truly
We've talked about this for too long.
crushes.
Yeah.
You go to anywhere, it's the same
I would
fucking
happily
meal.
promote the Keg.
Yeah.
Very, very consistent.
You rarely get like a bad experience.
Totally agree. There was a conference in New York last week, Next NYC. I think we're going to push this to next week's show, potentially just due to time constraints here. There's some comparisons between the regulated market and offshore, which I do want to talk about at some point, but we do have a hard out today. So we're going to go towards our chopping block, stuff that just missed the cut. And we'll be quick about this. We'll do a little bit of rapid fire here. Bill Belichick is seemingly enjoying life.
Is that Bill Belichick?
That is Bill Belichick holding up his girlfriend. Chuck Bass tweeted, Belichick is living like he was given a year to live. Joe Osborne, yeah, sign me up for under 7.5 wins for North Carolina. There was more to this. Bill Belichick asked UNC staff to copy his girlfriend on every email they send him. This is the email. I don't have a strong take other than like everyone can live their life however they want to.
I wish.
It feels like he shouldn't be coaching.
Yeah. I'm in that.
It feels like he is essentially pulled a LeBron to Bronny James. This is all really to get his children. His children are clearly running the game plans.
Yeah.
His son Steve, I believe, who's qualified, like he's done a good job. He's right. Even expatriates like will stand for him, or in Washington where he was. But this just seems like he is setting up his kids. You'll feel like he deserves to live any life he wants. It's almost like, why are you coaching? Like, just be the man, do TV segments, get paid a fortune. But
yeah.
I love it. I love it. He's living his best life. All the power to him.
I find it. This is judgmental on my part for sure, but I just find it weird. I've always viewed Belichick as in like a certain light.
Yeah.
His entire career, like this hard ass, like hard nosed head, no bullshit. And it's like you see his personal life now, and you're like, what the fuck?
But Patriots players have always said like he's actually pretty like.
Yeah,
like, he's been a hard ass. Like the exterior's been a hard ass, but I don't know. It's just like the whole thing around Halloween.
Yeah.
The whole like mermaid suit. like what is going on?
If we go
here?
back to that previous picture, I think we should replace the person lying on the ground with the head. Replace it with Elf's head. And put Amanda Vance on the top.
That's a good idea.
That's what I see when I see this. I see like an influencer.
Yeah.
That like Belichick is an influencer now. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, it's just very different from how you would perceive him normally, for sure.
It's just really weird. GRP tweeted, the once a month cinnamon apple pancakes never disappoint. Abnormally dissed. Found all the tweets of cinnamon apple pancakes and caught him in a lie. January, he had 3. February, 2. March so far has already had 2. I don't really know what to say about this other than that it's just fucking hilarious. It is actually one of the
He's like
tweets of the
copying
year.
and pasting the same description each time. Like February 19th and March 6th, I think are like literally the same post.
I hadn't seen this.
I was looking at Geoff when the original picture came up, and he was just like on the edge of his seat, and he said, "Oh no," before the next page came. Well, like he knew what was coming in some capacity. Oh no.
Right. I got in a Twitter war, which makes it seem like I was perpetually on Twitter, but there are times the phone goes down when you're away. I miss this whole exchange. I'm legit.
Well, it gets even better.
I love George.
January 30th was 49 degrees, so we know the threshold for wearing a jacket. He's looking at the jacket. You cannot slip stuff past people on gambling.
Yeah,
Twitter.
that was my takeaway as well. Of like people will.
Same fit each day except January 30th.
Like George. Did George respond like that?
Yeah,
he did.
He
He
responded
realized-
like in good fun.
He responded like you got me, like one of the fucking Bryan Cranston Breaking Bad moments.
You know what?
so
In fairness to George, as all of us that have like certain weaknesses,
Yeah.
you might like think like I've only smoked a pack this month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then someone could you've convinced yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like no, I only treat myself to the cinnamon apple ones.
No, there was like no
But it's
malintent
like-
with his tweet, but it's like someone caught him in a lie, and it
It's
looked
so funny.
fucking
This
hilarious.
is what Twitter's all about.
I think
man.
in
Just
a
fun little
perfect-
stuff like this.
I think like holistically, he wants to be able to just have them like a once a month treat.
Yeah.
I'm with you. In his
Agreed.
head,
Yeah.
I think he believed he only had 3.
100%. He did not realize that he had so many cinnamon apple
but
pancakes.
maybe when like
Like this is like someone showing you your P&L.
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing.
maybe this is like not to be disrespectful. Like, you don't have a job. Like sometimes times move in a little bit slower, and you need 2 weeks goes
yeah.
by.
Yes.
Time's a blur.
Yep.
He maybe really believed it only.
It's
been free
harder
this
to
year.
resist when you're like free every morning for a sit down diner breakfast.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's harder to like keep to the plan.
Yes. Jeff Benson, tentative NFL draft plan at Circa Sports. We're planning on listing roughly 60 to 70 guys, draft positions over under, positions drafted in round 1 over under, some tournament screen options for the Bears and Raiders. We will hang draft props on April 17th, 1 week before the draft. 40-cent splits and limits on the two-way offerings will be $200.
Are people mad about this?
People are very mad at the
I think I replied to me like it just for Circa like the brand. I get this is a very fluctuating market, but I would say there's as much misinformation, way more in this moment misinformation than true information. I know they don't want to be a free roll for people.
Yes.
If they actually gave limits, people will turn their Circa bets into free rolls by the time things are settled. That being said, from Circa, this sort of like comes off as me only able to buy like one 650 milliliter bottle of Coke from Costco.
Yeah.
Like from the brand, like
Yeah,
I
you're
shouldn't
saying
be
a brand that takes high limits and they're
like,
offering $200.
Instead of the full tub of margarine, they're only selling me like this little thing. I'm like, whoa, you're a Costco. So that would be my initial reaction, but I think.
Well, the comments every week do say that Kirk stands for the books. So let's hear his response from a bookmaker perspective.
well, I think 2 things, and this is going to be pretty negative towards the book. I think Circa having big limits is like, in some things they do, but like, what do they take on an NBA total at like 11 a.m.?
So you're saying
like,
perception isn't reality?
they take like $500.
Well, they don't limit.
Bucks.
The percent, like I think.
No, but people think they take big bets, and they do only on like, they'll take a massive bet at post on an NFL side,
Sure.
but like they oftentimes have extremely small limits.
But relative to market, like they're always going to take a bet.
At least, and yes, they'll always take a bet, which
Yes.
is good. But like in the NBA, the stuff is very small.
Right.
But yeah, whatever. I don't know. I will take their side on this. Maybe 200 is like a little bit low, but like again, the draft is really hard to price, and people have inside information. It's like it's honestly kind of stunning to me how many books offer stuff on the draft, but it's really declined because they probably got crushed on it.
That's what I was going to say. Like it's such a losing proposition for books to offer it nowadays because so much of it's information driven. I understand it. I also agree with Geoff. Like I was surprised to see like $200.
But I also respect it like it's Circa. There's just a dude there from the Midwest who wants to bet on the guy that went to his school to get drafted, and that's a service that they're offering.
Yep.
That's not gonna entice a the true draftnik, like the guys that are literally building their portfolios through a draft.
Totally agree. A couple more here that we have. Before the players this week, on the Wednesday, there was an influencer tournament that happened. I don't know if you saw this from Barstool Trent when he was hitting out of a green side, like it was a tough green side chip. The ball barely moved and dug into a hole, and
a hole he created.
Shot. Like a massive divot, and the ball landed there in even a worse spot. I saw Fat Perez nailed like a putt that was very similar to
epic.
the Tiger Woods iconic.
Better than most.
Oh yeah,
right?
better than it's like so.
I think the announcer said fatter than most when he hit it, which is an all-time line.
So I'm just curious what you guys' takes are on like the influencer invasion into sports, because I will say when John Cena made his heel turn in Toronto at Elimination Chamber, it went bad for the first time. There was someone in the ring there. I don't a musician.
I forget who it is.
I don't know who. I'm not a pop
Was
culture.
it Travis Scott?
Travis Scott, maybe. Yeah. And I was like, it's so fucking lame that this guy is in the ring for like one of the most iconic.
Travis Scott is like a McDonald's combo, Rob. Like that is, like that's a level of, I guess everyone. Like that's such a high level of notoriety of McDonald's naming a combo after you.
Okay,
I like the golf influencers though.
So do I.
Like, I find them great.
I think this is just the world we live in now. Honestly, like YouTube golf is huge. Bring out like YouTube golfers to help put you on the map.
Liv paid Rick Shields to essentially be an employee. So it's like, here's an influencer. Influencers influencers are important. Let's just pay an influencer to attract an audience. I mean. Yeah, I like this. Golf is so perfect for this. Like, truly, you have the course, you have the fans, you have the setup. Like, you have Wednesday and Tuesday where, like, yes, there's practice rounds, but there's a window where it's available to make happen.
Bingo.
It is just so goddamn conducive to it, and it's fun. Like, I don't not like Trent. Like, I find Dan Rappaport annoying, so I enjoyed people, like, railing him on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm into it. I was following over the course of the day. I thought it's pretty cool. I guess it's different for me. I watch a lot of YouTube golf, so I'm watching like people that I watch regularly. Whereas Travis Scott, I don't listen to Travis Scott. I don't know, so I thought it was lame. But I'm sure a lot of people loved the fact that he was.
I just think it's good when they're actually like good at the sport, which is nice in golf. But like I imagine Travis Scott's not like a good.
But Barstool Trent is like a 17 handicap or something.
But he's a rare example.
That was fucking great. Like watching like my handicap play. TPC, like it was,
and it seemed like as he was dumping them in the water, the crowd was getting behind it, so it felt good. I think Barstool even had their own mini tournament to decide which Barstool guy would get. It seemed like the Creator Classic gave a spot to foreplay, and then they played it out amongst themselves. And I don't know how. I mean, obviously it's a handicap thing for Trent to have won that, but I don't know how Trent beat the other guys in foreplay.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll end it off on the last one. Pick'em Petey tweeted, five sports betting Twitter people I hate right now, with descriptions of why he hates them. Vig Police, which is man of the Vig, reeks of desperation. Jeffrey Benson, pretending he's one of us when he's the literal opposite. No offense, he's just wearing the wrong jersey.
Well,
he's
literal op doesn't mean the opposite.
So what's the opposition? He's the opposition?
Oh, opposition. Thank you. Well, he is. It's he works for a sports book. Right?
Well, he is, but that's not what literal op means.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So he is like the dude undercover in a biker gang, like hanging out with us at the club, but really he's just going back. No, I'm making a joke. I love Benson, to be honest. Losing to him in the bracket was an honor.
Spinfluencer had some motion for a second, but then came out as an incel. Dez Bryant, culture vulture, attempting to be part of the capper space with zero understanding of the community or even how to bet. And then Ras Picks, consumed by the fact that people who are better than him at marketing are succeeding more than him in his industry. Whatever. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Just pick 'em Petey's opinions.
Does Pick'em Petey sell picks?
I don't know.
What's that logo?
Based on this list of 5, I would imagine he does.
It's very possible.
Profit X. What
is there? Are there any sports betting Twitter people that you hate right now? Like hate?
No.
Hates? No.
Okay.
Like there's people like they could rile me up or say something or like.
Okay, maybe hate's not the. I'll say I hate Fezzik's Twitter account.
Yeah.
I hate it rattles me to
one.
my absolute core the way that he'll tweet something one day and then the exact opposite of it the other day, or tweet things like this is the be all and end all. That is the number one on my list.
It was a reply. I'm like gonna pat myself on the back here, but I thought I had a great tweet in calling Steve. Like Steve sees himself as an expert at everything.
Yeah.
Sports gambling, food and beverage, travel, real estate,
comps,
stocks, like name it. He'll probably tell you how to fix your car if you had a problem.
Or he'll at least tell you who the right guy is to fix your car.
I the classic Chris Jericho, like reading this whole moveset list. I'm like, Steve Fezzik reading the list of things he is an expert at.
Yes.
There's nothing I think he would say I don't know about that.
All right. We're going to end it on that.
No, actually, there's a bonus because something came up while we were live. So while we were live, a scheduled post I had about Kanish in his steroid era came out.
Oh, I saw that.
And Kanish replied with photo proof of what he looked like at the time.
No.
So here you go. Yeah. So
What are we talking about?
Kanish
I saw that.
admitted
Okay. So
on a Q&A
that
on
he
Circles Off last week that he used to be buff and he used to use steroids. Yes.
And so people didn't believe that, so he posted photos.
Kanish
and,
is our age,
Now you
right,
can
Rob?
make
Like, give or take?
now you can decide live what you think. This is directly
Wait,
from
there's
Kanish
no
himself.
face.
Well, no face in
No,
them.
but you could tell by the hair on the arms that it's Kanish. He has extremely hairy arms, and you could tell by.
I wouldn't guess this
Is
person
this
roided
hotel
out.
selfies?
Yeah, what is this? I'm very.
That looks like a hotel.
It is a hotel. He
So
confirmed
he's
it's a hotel.
thirst trapping for.
He's
for-
on
for
vacation. He's on
grind-
vacation.
I mean,
He said he was on vacation.
He doesn't really
What's
look
it?
juiced out to me. But
what
he's
is
in
it?
great
What are the
shape there.
apps?
Yeah, it's great shape.
Well, the right is not
What's the app?
steroids.
I said the gay one. What's the other one? I'm too old.
You said Grindr?
Yeah. What's the other app? What are
Bumble?
the apps?
Tinder?
Tinder?
That's the one
Yeah.
I was looking for.
Well, he was a younger guy. He was
You
like
said
early.
Grindr? Grindr came to your
Really,
mind?
just like he's thirst trapping
It is
hotel.
a-
Well,
This is-
it was early 20s for Kanish on vacation. I don't know what he was
This
up
is fascinating
to.
that he posted this.
Well,
It really
anyways,
is. I have a
I
lot-
think Kanish got a lot of credit and praise for being on Circles Off and Circle Back, and
it's-
then maybe going to his head
It's
a little
definitely
bit
got
here.
to his head.
Good for,
Okay.
good
Being
for
a little
Rip,
comfortable
good for
here.
Rip Joey.
what I wanted to bring up with this, Kanish claims he benched 350 pounds in this era. Do you guys believe Kanish benched 350 pounds?
How many plates is that?
Jeez, come on, man.
3? Yeah, it's something like 3 plates. Yeah, well, like if he was on,
Yeah.
He
So
doesn't
yeah,
look-
3 plates is not quite.
he doesn't look that.
So he looks
huge to me.
he looks
but
very fit, but like I can't believe we're talking. His chest doesn't look huge, and
I'm sorry, Kanish. I don't think I would love proof. Don't
I'm
think
calling
you benched
BS on
350
the
pounds.
350 pound. I mean, he's very physically fit. I've never been in this condition in my life, for sure. But I don't know about 350.
300 maybe.
If he was on steroids, maybe, but I don't. I'm not that familiar with
Looks
how
like-
much like what they do. I know.
Looks
they-
like we're gonna have
Steroids
another
doesn't-
physical challenge. coming up
Steroids
in a
doesn't
couple
give you
months.
super strength. Steroids just enhances your ability to build muscle, but you still have
Yeah.
to work for it.
No, for sure. But if he was on steroids and like he's obviously in good shape here, maybe. But yeah, probably not.
He brought his electric toothbrush on vacation with
That's
him.
weird.
I don't do that.
That's very unusual.
I
to
bring
me.
one from
is
the
unusual.
dentist.
That's like serial killer vibes.
I just bring one the dentist.
Yeah,
gives
No,
me.
but it's,
100%.
but
Brad-
it's possible that the left is vacation and the right's not.
I doubt it.
Because he says the
true.
right's not roided.
That
right?
look at
That's
that.
true. That's true. That's true.
I
That's
don't know.
probably his
That
fault. I
sink
didn't
on
read the
the
message.
right. That sink on the right should be a hotel, like a Hojo, Howard Johnson or
that
something.
might have been his home at the time, man.
Early 20s.
That doesn't look like it.
Pre-betting.
I also
maybe his home.
another
I
thing
don't
that
know.
really bothers me about the right picture. Now that we're like really breaking it down, you see how he's installed the toilet paper roll.
He's in the same.
You see the
pants.
toilet paper roll where the roll, like the
Yeah,
paper
it's
goes
the wrong way.
The wrong way. I mean, that's. I can't handle that.
You're right. That's not a hotel. They would set.
They
that
would definitely,
properly.
if
Yeah,
it was a hotel,
yeah,
it'd definitely be
it's on
facing the
outside.
proper way
You're
with
right.
the roll on the outside.
But he's wearing the same shirt, pants.
Well, he's not wearing a shirt.
I mean, pants.
Same shirt. What is a skin tight shirt?
Maybe those just his workout pants. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, it's those are. I'm gonna like crotch line. These
If
pants
you're-
hold the crotch line.
If you're on audio right now, you should probably
Yeah.
head over to the YouTube channel to see
Well,
this.
good for Joe.
yourself.
yeah, Joey Fitness. I honestly, I root for people to be healthy.
He's in
And
good
if you-
shape right now.
He's working
Look
on
at
it, he
that.
said.
Yeah,
He says, we will
for sure.
return to
Yeah.
form
Yeah.
and past glory. The road
Yeah.
back
So
has
when's he
begun.
coming back then?
We'll figure it out. I got some ideas. Some things are brewing. Make sure you're subbed here on the Circles Off channel. If you enjoyed today's episode, smash that like button. Hashtag circle back on Twitter if you want us to talk about anything on the show. We review that every week. Of course, we got our giveaway as well. So leave us your comments. Sub here. Follow us on Twitter as well. And one programming note. Do have an interview dropping this week. It's dropping on Wednesday instead of the usual Thursday. Thursday's March Madness. Don't want to drop an interview right in the middle of March Madness. It's coming out on Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Set your notifications. Turn them on here. I think you'll enjoy this one quite a bit. This has been Circle Back. We'll catch you next week. Peace.